We're going to take a little bit of a spiritual twist on this. Everybody, sees you as major leaguers, and you're almost celebrity-like. You can, the world's at your disposal. I mean, there's so many things that can come at you. What are some, real practical things that you build into your daily grind of playing baseball to just really keep your focus and your blinders on and not let yourself get distracted from the things that are out there, from a spiritual standpoint? I mean, is it Bible studies on the road? Is it having, things with close teammates? I mean, what are the areas in your life that you build in that you would say that, talking to the kids and even adults? I mean, this is real world stuff here. How do you keep that walk with the Lord real and relevant every day when you're kind of in that battle zone?
We all sitting up here have young kids. And I think everybody knows who's a parent or been a parent of young kids. Your time, gets sucked up pretty quick from, changing a diaper, hanging out with the kids or playing with them or putting them to bed, whatever it is. So I feel like our time at home, because we do travel so much, we want to soak that up and enjoy it. And I know Luke and I have talked about this pretty recently. We don't have a whole lot of time at home for that, quiet time just to hang with the Lord. So just being creative and making that time, if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just making that time and making it a priority each and every day. And I started doing this a couple years ago. I found the quietest part of my day was sitting in the car after I'd driven to the ballpark and just parked my car, turn the radio off, and I just have peace and quiet right there. No one can ask me anything, and no one can come up to me and try to pull anything from me, and it's just me. I open my Bible, I read a little bit, and I pray and meditate, and even if it's 5 minutes, that just makes the rest of my day so much more even-keeled, and that peace that I have and the joy throughout the rest of the day is on fire. So just encouragement to make that time. Don't make the excuse that you don't have time. I know everyone's lives are busy, but just make it. It's worth it every single time. No one's ever regretted spending 10 minutes with the Lord.
I want to piggyback off of that. Oh, yeah. I want to piggyback off of that. And so we take what he just said and what we've been doing as, me and Nick as teammates, we got a group together, like a group chat. And I think this works for no matter how old, how young you are, to get some close friends and people who want to do that journey with you and who want to, grow in the Lord and learn more about what he's got in there and do those things. And I think when we lean on each other, it just helps motivate us. It helps push us to where we need to be. And so with what Nick was saying, we really push for that quiet time and we do that stuff. And so when we get to do that and we get to the field and, we run across each other, we're able to have this dialogue where we could talk about what we read about. We can have these cool conversations that aren't baseball related. And it works really well. It takes a lot of work, to be grounded in what we're doing. It's easy to get caught up just like in anything, any work or what you got going in your lives. But I think it's so important to have a nice, tight-knit group. It could be a group chat, a text chain, whatever you want it to be. Go through a reading plan, keep it simple, get after it, whatever you want to do. But I think that's been a huge help, and that's something that we're trying to attack right now.
Real quick, too. Just I'm thinking about this as Luke's talking. He started this group chat. We have about 7 or 8 guys in the chat. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think he's the youngest guy in that group. So there's a lot of young kids here, young people. Don't make your age an excuse to have a community and be connected with people. I was really proud of him for doing that, especially after his year last year and, not feeling like as much a part of the team because he was hurt and things like that. He really stepped up and stepped out and was bold and just wanted to get this thing going. So he's being a leader even though he's one of the younger guys in the group, if not the youngest. So keep being bold and don't worry about your age.
Yeah, I think the reality of it is, and I'm going to steal Hommel's line here, but, he said one time that, how would your relationship with your wife or husband be if you only talked to them before a meal and just a couple minutes before you went to bed? It wouldn't be that great. And so the reality is what I try to do is I don't just take a couple minutes for Jesus. I try and bring him into every single thing that I do on the baseball field, whether that's running, throwing, hitting. If I'm at my locker, I'm just trying to continually pray as the Bible says, and trying to continually bring him in and invite him into every relationship that I sit down with at the lunch table, breakfast table, whatever it is. And so when situations kind of hit the fan or when things get tough, it's easy for me to turn to him because he's always right there. And I'm not perfect at it, but that's what I strive to do. And it seems to keep me grounded and keep me locked in on an eternal mindset or a 10,000-foot view.
And I'm going to just piggyback off the piggyback because community has been the most impactful thing for me. Like I was stating before, just accountability and having someone you can lean on. And like Nick was saying, we all have issues. We all have, busy days. And with busy days, there's going to become more interactions. With more interaction with the people, there's going to come more problems. So something's always going to be, disturbing us in a way. So we're going to have to be able to get that off of our chest and not bottle it in. Because that's what I always used to do. And so even if Weave's the youngest guy in there, I used to be that youngest guy when I was first called up in 2013, and I didn't say a word. And I just knew that I needed to be in the Bible studies. I knew I needed to be, in chapel. And for those first 2 years, I just kind of just stayed quiet. I listened, I nodded, and I just tried to soak everything in because I knew I was around older guys that, were having issues that, were getting stuff off their chest. Now I'm like, man, these guys are going through the same stuff that I'm going through, and they have the courage enough to actually talk about it in front of other men. Which before my pride was just so strong. I'm like, I'm not letting anybody know I have problems because I'm perfect. So that helped me grow exponentially. So I just encourage people just to get into a group, just like all these other guys have been talking about.
I want to just expand off of that real quick, but I really appreciate what these guys said, but that only comes from a mentor, someone who I've looked up to, people that I've been around, that have fed into me, that have really pushed me and just allowed me to, mature quick, and just, kind of what Anthony was saying, just like really listening and soaking it in. And then you get to a point where you start to look around and you realize that, you're not the young guy anymore. You start to see guys that are coming up behind you. And so you just get this urge, you just get this fire inside of you where, all the stuff that you've learned from the guys above you, it just starts to pour out. And so I would just encourage to find someone like that, no matter how old or young they are, just as long as they're grounded in the Word and they know their stuff, just feed into it and allow it to push you.
Yeah.